Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I am here today with another member of the UofU Dream Center. This is Diane. What are we talking about today, Diane?
Today we're going to be talking about college advising and scholarships that are available to undocumented students here in Utah.
Great. So let's get to it. Okay. In this video, we wanted to talk about scholarships and advising and what's available for our community. But to start off, Diane, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi everybody. My name is Diane Munoz, and I'm currently a graduate assistant for the University of Utah Dream Center. I'm currently a graduate student studying for a master's in public administration, and I will be graduating next May, hopefully. And I've been working with the Dream Center for a year now, and I'm going into my second year in August, and I'm super excited to be here with you.
Great, thank you. I'm excited to have you here. I feel like this topic is so important because I did not have the right information when I started college. I had to research, and then I found out that my choices and the stuff that was available for me was very limited because I started university as an undocumented student, and then DACA arrived, and that kind of helped a little bit to at least give me the opportunity to work, but I didn't have enough information about scholarships or student aid or anything like that. So as of right now, for students who have DACA or are undocumented or have other mixed status, what are their options, Diane?
Yeah, so I kind of had a similar situation coming into the university. I was myself undocumented. I'm no longer undocumented, but the first 3 years of being a University of Utah student, I was undocumented, felt very lost, and every time I would ask people for resources, they never really had the right answer. So as a Dream Center, we really focus on never letting a student leave without at least having some type of support. I think it's really important to at least research, even if we don't have the answers. We research, we reach out to our community members and try to find those resources available for our students. What we really like to do is we do a student-centered college advising, which we put the student first. We don't put their status first. We put the fact that they're studying at the university or wherever other university they want to go to or pursue or currently at. We really focus that experience, and we ask them, what do you need as a student? Mm-hmm. Not what do you need as an undocumented person, but what do you need as a student first? We start the conversation with, what are you thinking of studying? What are your goals? Do you want to do an internship, right? And just letting them know that even though their status is part of their identity, right, and it's going to be part of their journey as students, is that they're students first, and that's what we're really here to support. Yeah. And also, because of certain policies, undocumented students right now in Utah are eligible to apply for private scholarships. So our website actually has a tab on our website, there's a tab called scholarships, where students are able to find scholarships available to them that are all private, either nationally or in the state. So students have really easy access, and as Alonso mentioned in the previous video, we also have Educate Utah, which is what he created with Mestizos Arts and Activism in 2008.
Great. We'll make it easy for you guys to get to this website. We'll link him somewhere below. But yeah, I feel like private scholarships are interesting to me because I sort of like arrived to some of those opportunities, but it was by accident. Like people went out of their way to create these scholarships for me. But I feel like it's great that you guys are sort of like keeping an eye out and having that, sort of database of opportunity for students out there. I also have recently met with you guys at your space, and it's a great atmosphere. You guys is very collaborative.
It's okay.
And you show up and you get to know your students, and you guys are awesome at doing that. So take me through that process of advising and getting to know the students. What does that look like?
Yeah, so we usually go to different community events, or students hear from their peers. Alonso does a great job of going out in the community and promoting our resource. I do a lot of the advising in the space, or I also meet students wherever they want to meet. But a lot of sorry, what was the question? Like are you asking how we recruit the students? Or
that, and then when a student already shows up, what steps do you take? Do you just like sit down and have a conversation?
Okay.
I think you
That
touched
makes
base a little bit about, you know, like.
So I was like thinking like how they show up to our
what
space.
they want.
Okay.
What they want to study, what their dreams are, like.
Okay.
What are those questions that you're asking them to get to know to better give them a direction of where to go?
Okay. Yeah. So normally when a student shows up, the first thing they usually tell us is that, you know, my status is becoming a barrier in my educational journey.
Yes.
I heard about your center, and I heard that you support undocumented students here in Utah. So first, before we get into what their status is, if they have DACA or they don't, or if they're a refugee student waiting for asylum, things like that, we first ask them, what are you thinking about studying? What are your goals? Where do you see yourself after graduation? And kind of help them with that process.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also mentioned in the last preview, we don't recruit or push the University of Utah onto them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where our center is located, and we obviously, if a student wants to go to the U, we will help them get there. But honestly, like I worked with a student last year, and she actually got accepted to oh my god, I just blinked. What's the school in Washington D.C.? Okay. Anyway, I'll repeat that. We worked with a student last year. I worked with a student last year that got accepted to Georgetown, so we like supported that. Any goal that you have, any school that you have in mind that you want to go to, we're there to support you along the way. And obviously helping the student look for those scholarships if that's out of the state or in Utah.
Yeah,
we support that.
I feel like it's also very important to clarify that even though this is the UofU Dream Center, you guys don't only represent DACA recipients or dreamers, but also immigrants and then mixed status. Is that the correct term?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
So, for example, we'll get U.S. citizens or permanent residents that qualify for things like FAFSA, financial aid, but they have parents that are undocumented, and they get really scared like filling out FAFSA because obviously it's giving your information to some type of government agency, and they get scared to put all their full name, their address, and all that type of information, so they get scared reasonably. So we kind of let them know their rights, and we let them know kind of how the process would work to fill out those paperwork, and making sure that they that fear doesn't stop them from achieving and gaining those resources that are available to them as U.S. citizens or permanent residents.
Right. Have you ever had to interact with parents?
Yes. Actually,
how's that?
It's awesome. I love it because from my experience, for example, my mom reached out for my resources when I was undocumented. When I told my counselor that I was undocumented, she incorrectly advised me and told me that I was not able to go to college as an undocumented student here in the U.S. So I kind of just gave up. I kind of had and I was a great student. I had a great GPA, but hearing those words from a person that I trusted and was guiding me throughout the whole time through my educational journey in high school, and then her telling me I don't think you can go to college, it really I kind of just gave up, and I was like, I remember telling my mom like, I'm not gonna go to school, like who cares if I have great grades. I kind of just became really stuck in this mindset that there's no point, you know. So my mom was actually the one that was like, no, a mí no me importa, you're going to school, I don't care what that lady said. And that was really impactful, right? Because she was the one that was consistently calling anybody that she ever knew that had a little bit of information for me. She called them, and she slowly started getting information. She called the University of Utah, and she got me an appointment with somebody that was able to talk to me about certain policies. Awesome. And honestly, because of my mom, I wouldn't be here today. So I love when parents call because it kind of reminds me of my mom and that experience.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that happens a lot. Advisors not really having the right information or even the experience to give good advice tailored for people like us, the undocumented, the immigrants that are, DACA recipients. So now that you went through that experience, have you taken a little bit of that with you to now when you meet parents from other students? What does that look like?
Yeah, so when parents come, we go into a space together and we talk about their journey. I speak Spanish myself, so if the parents speak Spanish, we talk the whole conversation in Spanish. A veces no es perfecto, but we try. But yeah, and I love it because honestly, they have the best questions. some of the questions that students haven't thought about themselves, and they're really there to advocate for their child, and I love it. I love how they're saying like, okay, well, do you have all the questions? I'll have a few myself. So like, I love that because they're honestly, even though they're not super aware of the system, they really want to make sure that their child goes through the system and succeeds. So I love that. And we just try to like accommodate to them, and obviously I think we're one of those spaces that we really welcome parents because we know this is a journey that students and parents go through. And honestly, parents have been like a lot of students always tell me like, you know, I'm here because of my parents. Like I'm in this country because of the sacrifices my parents made, and I want to make it for them. So it's kind of like an achievement that they're doing together. So we really respect that, and we really invite parents to come along.
That's awesome. I feel like that's very relatable. I know that was my drive behind just getting through all this, right? And just pushing. It was at the end of the day to just, we're already here, right? Pursuing the American dream, and our parents started that for us. So now it was just sort of like paying back and honoring that sacrifice to actually just push through it and get an education, a college education. So that's awesome. So if you had to give one last piece of advice for anyone that's watching about the UofU Dream Center, what would that be?
I wouldn't say it's for the U, but just like for students that are undocumented, I would say don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. I think that was one of the hardest things for me when I was undocumented, is I felt like my voice was never going to be heard because of my status, and I felt like I didn't have the right to speak up because I didn't have legal status in this country. And I would say don't be afraid to speak up. You're a student. If you're paying tuition, you have the right to advocate for resources. And if you're not getting the resources you need in school, let somebody know. And somebody that is listening to you will speak up for you. And people that care will listen to what you have to say and make those changes. So that's my biggest recommendation for students.
That's awesome. So on a previous interview with Alonso, I said that I reworded my mission statement for this project. And it was about, sort of empowering DACA students, dreamers, immigrants, and mixed status to take back the narrative of your lives, to take back your story. And that was just perfect for this message. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna end this video. So till next time. Thank you. Bye.
YouTuber.